y'all, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing good. As you can see, I'm in the car, but I'm actually, instead of going to work, I am headed home. And I didn't film this morning because when I left a little early. It was still dark. Oh my God, this guy. It's a one-lane road and he squeezed in past me, so impatient. Good gracious alive. So anyway, yeah, so it's just the same crap going home as it is coming to work. But I just wanted to get on and I'm gonna just kind of chit chat with y'all as I'm headed home. I don't know exactly how long I will be speaking, but we are going to spend a little time together. I do want to say that I hope that I don't really see many views on the She Thoughts. I did get some really nice compliments on the She Thoughts that I posted about journaling. I was very happy to hear that it was beneficial. So I still have some that I need to record. They're going to be on various topics. It's not going to be about anything specific. I'm just going to be talking about like different things. I'm going to pick a subject and then I will discuss it if I have reference material to provide to you all, like where I got information from, or if I have a recommendation for a product, or something like that. All of that will be in the description box of the video. But so far so good. Like I said, I'm not getting a lot of watch time. I am getting a lot of views on my reels and my shorts. So thank y'all so much for checking the girl out. She is trying to graduate in this social media game. So everybody seems to be enjoying the shorts and the reels. Now I haven't posted any new shorts or reels in a few days now. I was trying to be consistent and post at least once a day. And so because I was doing like my meals and, things like that. So I will try to get back on my game. Today is Tuesday. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm not going to commit to posting any shorts or reels for the rest of the week. If I do, then that'll just be something random that I did, but to consciously post a short or reel, I think I want to hold off on doing that until probably like either over the weekend or next week. So anyway, yeah, so the shorts and reels are doing good. I got compliments on my She Talks. I was trying to make sure that I posted a ride with me at least twice a week. 1 day a week for sure, because I don't drive into the office every day, and that's usually when I do my ride with me's. I stopped doing like the vlog style, like when I'm running my errands and stuff, because it's just a lot for me to set up the camera, record. I gotta stop, get out of the car, run my errand, get back in the car, put the camera back up, and all that up and down, back and forth. It just can be a little bit challenging, especially if the places that I have to stop are not close together. I mean, if they are close together, because that means I have a shorter period of time that I'm actually recording, and will most likely not record for a couple of stops and then get in, take a break from the ripping and running, and then try to let y'all know like what's going on. So to keep down the chaos, I just haven't recorded any vlogs while I'm out running my errands. So I just do the ride with me's. And I really want to offer something to the members, even though I'm pretty much doing everything that I said I would do for the levels that I have memberships on. I still wanted to try to do something extra to let y'all know that I appreciate you for rocking with me, because you didn't have to keep your membership active. So this mic is just falling all over the place. I'm trying to get it to stay up. So I'm hoping y'all hear me, because it was just flopped down a second ago. I didn't realize it because I don't know how to secure it to my shirt. So anyway, it doesn't have like a lapel clip on it. So, and I don't want to hold it while I'm driving. So anyway, what was the other thing I was going to talk about? Oh yeah, forgive me. I'm so sorry. I'm a little tired. I have been watching quite a few videos. There's a channel that I've been watching, and it has just been so interesting to see like her personality transition based on the different situations that she's dealing with. Sometimes she be going off, and I just be sitting there thinking to myself, oh, you know, I feel bad, because I just feel like some of the things that she's going off about, you know, she really shouldn't have to deal with. She shouldn't have to deal with. You know, I think that sometimes people can be really ugly and unfair, and it's not that I feel like she's a sensitive person. I just feel like, you know, she's a person, and so her feelings matter, you know, and she shouldn't have to be dealing with some of the crap that she's dealing with. But anyway, I shouted her out on my creator shout outs, which I'm also doing every Tuesday. So there should have been one that came out today. I believe I got them set up. I don't know if next week is my last one. So this week I have to make sure that I set up the other ones for the next few weeks. Because the way that I do my videos, I get everything recorded and everything set up to drop on particular days. And so that way I'm not stressing over content. I just make sure that I try to stay ahead days out. And so I'm doing the creator shout out on Tuesday, and then I'm doing the She Thoughts on, I believe, Saturday. And there was some other I can't remember off the top of my, and then on my vlogs. Oh, was it the cooking? I think I was trying to schedule one day out of the week where I did a cooking video, and then I remember that I think I had 2 days of vlogs, and I know for a fact that Thursday is the one. I believe Thursday and Sunday are the 2 days that I'm not posting anything, I think. I don't have my schedule. Y'all forgive me if I'm messing with the mic, but I'm trying to make sure that y'all can hear me. I think it's Thursday and Sunday. Thursday for sure, but I can't remember if I decided not to post anything on Sunday. Anyway, y'all come on. We don't want to miss the light. So yeah, and I'm back to juicing. I was so disappointed because I Instacarted some groceries, and the last time I juiced, I put watermelon in the juice, and it was so good. But I put the whole ginger root that I had in there, and I thought I would have tasted it more, but I didn't. So for some reason, I guess watermelon season is over. I don't know. But I was really trying to get me some more watermelon, and the only thing that the shopper said that they had was pre-cut watermelon, and I think it was like, because the whole watermelon is $5.99, $6.99, something like that. Ooh. And half of a watermelon, she was telling me it's like $7 something, and I'm like, how they charging you so much for a half a watermelon? That is nuts to me. But so I may not, be able to get. I don't know how. I paid for a little bowl of watermelon today, so I may have to do that, or I may just have to decide not to fool with the watermelon at all. But the most disappointing thing wasn't even the watermelon. I ordered ginger, and she said that she got the ginger, but I ordered ginger for my juice, and it never made it. And so she put on there that she that she shopped it, but it wasn't in any of the bags. And I was like, oh crap. So even without the watermelon, I can't juice, because I have to have ginger in my juice when I juice, because it helps my stomach, and it actually gives the juice a really nice clean taste. And so I want my ginger. I don't want to juice without it. So I actually had to stop at the grocery store to grab some things, because my friend's birthday is tomorrow. So she was coming into the office for us to have breakfast together. And so I went and grabbed some stuff for breakfast and juice. And I was right there at the store, and I kept saying to myself, you know, since you got to go to the store anyway, just grab the ginger while you're in there. And my thought was to grab the ginger while I was in there so that I can take it home. And actually, I was going to juice tomorrow, because I'm just not trying to do all that tonight, because you got to wash the produce and, you know, prep the produce and all that kind of stuff. So I was going to do that tomorrow. Because I enjoyed, you know, when I juiced the other week. And so, yeah, she went into the grocery store, and still, even though she was in there getting stuff, she still forgot the friggin' ginger. So they did give me a credit. I wish they would have just put the money back on my card, but they did give me a credit on Instacart for the ginger that she was supposed to have in my groceries. So I'm like, do I go ahead and try this again? Because, I mean, obviously they're not going to have... Because I was thinking maybe instead of going with the grocery store I went with, maybe do a different grocery store. And hopefully they will have even... I don't know if they'll have whole watermelons or not. Because everybody's saying that since, you know, the pumpkins came out, the watermelons kind of went bye-bye. So... I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if they took all the watermelons and cut them up, and if that's what's going on. Because I mean, there's a whole bunch of watermelon cut up in those little plastic containers. And also they got like the half of watermelon and a quarter of watermelon and stuff like that. So I'm thinking that's probably what they did. So anyway. Oh, speaking of watermelon, I was going to ask y'all, am I the only person that, because when I get a watermelon, I don't usually get like a real big old watermelon, because it's just me and my husband. But what I do is I take the watermelon and I put the watermelon in the sink, and this is going to sound weird, but I make, because it's only the outside of the watermelons, but I put it in the sink in a little bit of soapy water, and I actually wash the outside of my watermelon as if I'm like washing dishes. And the reason I do that is because the thought in my mind is that this watermelon's been kind of sitting all over the place, right? So I don't want to cut into that and then cut whatever's on the outside. You cutting all that into because the knife is sliding from the outside right into the meat of the watermelon. So you're going to be eating that, right? Oh, y'all hold on. This thing is flopping all over the place. I'm so sorry. This is not the best connection for this video. Okay, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to hope it'll be okay. So yeah, I give my watermelon a bath before I actually cut it. So I mean literally hot soapy water. I know that sounds weird, because stuff just don't get clean in cold water to me. But hot soapy water. Then I dry it off real good, and then I put it on a clean cutting board with a clean knife, and that's how I cut open my watermelon. So does anybody else do that? Y'all don't leave me out here feeling weird. Not that, I mean, it doesn't matter, because I'm gonna keep doing it, because at least y'all know I have these phobias, and at least that way I'm not in the back of my mind eating dirt or eating God only knows what else. To me, I mean, it's only going to be as clean as you can get it with the hot soapy water. And I have a produce brush, so I'm bathing it and scrubbing it with my produce brush, because that's the same thing I use to clean my produce before I juice. So because I don't. Like, say, for example, my apples, I don't peel my apples when I juice. I don't peel my carrots when I juice. I mean, all of that stays on there I make some vinegar water with baking soda, and initially what I do is I just let all the produce just sit in that water and just kind of hang out. You know, everybody's in the pool. So that's what I do to my carrots. I even wash my lemons and my oranges and stuff like that. But the difference is the lemons and oranges I treat just like I do the watermelon. So even though I'm washing the lemons and oranges, I actually do peel those, because citrus skin, as y'all know, is they actually process like oranges and oranges and lemons, citrus, oranges and lemons and grapefruit and stuff like that. They process the essence of that, the oils and all that kind of stuff. They extract it, and that's how they make like the oils and everything. So that stuff is really potent. And if you juice and you mess around and use the skin of the lemon peel, the lime peel, the grapefruit, your juice is going to be very bitter and unpleasant. So I have no idea who this is. Y'all hold on. But I wash all of my produce regardless of whether I'm going to peel it or not. And then that produce that I need to peel, I set aside. And the reason I do that is because that's going to take me longer to prep for the juicer. Everything else that I don't have to peel, what I do is I go ahead and I cut it down to the appropriate size for me to put into the juice, the sleeve of the juicer, so that because I can get to it faster. And so usually my citrus, I wind up actually juicing that probably closer to last, because I use my knife. I don't peel it with my hand. I use my knife to cut the lemon peel and the lemon. What else I use that I have to? Lemon and oranges. So I use the knife to cut away the skin of the lemon and oranges, and then I cut it in quarters and then feed it through the machine. So even the cucumber, I don't peel that, because all the nutrients is in the whole. I mean, you're getting the juice, but it's best to leave it on there because the nutrients is in the skin. It's in the skin and the meat of the produce that you're using. But since you're not eating those whole, it doesn't make any sense to further eliminate nutrients that you could use by peeling it. So if you don't need to peel it, then you don't peel it. So anyway, yeah, so usually for me, my juices, I do apples, oranges, lemons. I do cucumbers, celery, ginger, beet, and sometimes I do pineapple. Like this time I did pineapple and I did watermelon. So this is the first time I ever juiced the watermelon, but it's not the first time I've used the pineapple. So I will say the pineapple mixed with the apple and then adding the watermelon made it sweeter than what I'm used to, which there's nothing wrong with it being sweet, but I would have really preferred it not to be as sweet as it was. But the thing about it is, if I had added more lemon and if I had had more ginger, it would have given it the flavor that I really enjoy. So this juice was really light because of the watermelon and the pineapple, and then not having enough ginger. So that's what I'm going to. I got beets, celery, cucumbers, apples, oranges. I have to get the ginger. Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna get everything I need to get together to juice. I do want to figure out how to juice the greens, but again, I don't know if it's my machine or what the deal is. But the process of trying to juice greens currently it's like okay, so give you a perfect example. I had a whole bag of spinach, and I put that whole bag of spinach through the juicer, and it didn't, like, it was ridiculous the amount that it yielded. So what I kind of thought was, I do need to invest in some cheesecloth. So what I kind of thought was to, I don't know if maybe getting the frozen spinach will make a difference, because, you know, it's frozen, and, you know, as it thaws, it's going to yield, you know, so much liquid, blah, blah. I don't know. I also, the other thing is I tried blending it and then putting it through a strainer. So I've tried a couple of things and I just wasn't impressed. So I'm thinking maybe I just, you know, opt to get like the super greens they have, because I used to take the super greens and add it to my protein shakes, but they have it in a powder. I can't remember the brand that I used, but I'm gonna tell you the brand that I used when I was plant-based. It had kale, spinach, it had 5 different greens in there, and it was a powder, but it had a sweetness to it, and I can't remember if one of the greens was like green apple or something. It was something like that, but there were 5 different greens, and then it had kind of a sweetness to it, which I like. So if, like, say for example, you decided not to put it in your protein shake, but you decided to take it like by itself, it didn't have an unpleasant taste. Because I did try that initially, because I was like, oh, this is not bad. And so what made me start adding it to my protein shakes is because it was just a lot for me to do protein shake, then try to drink something liquid, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So I figure I'll just kind of knock out 2 birds with 1 stone by just adding the super greens powder to my protein shake. So now, I used to get it from the vitamin shop. I haven't been to the vitamin shop in a really long time, and so I have to go back to the vitamin shop. They closed the one over by my job, because that's the one I used to go to all the time. I used to, like on my lunch break or something, I used to just, because it was right on the corner, I used to just walk over there. But they done closed that down. And so I need to go to the vitamin shop, or maybe I can look online, because I don't know if they do. I know they don't do like delivery, but maybe they do like Instacart or DoorDash or something like that. I don't know. But I'm going to look on the vitamin shop website and see if I can find the brand of super greens powder that I used to use. And if I can, that's what I want to get to add to my juice, because so the one thing that I liked, again, was the flavor. But the other thing that I really liked was it dissolved so smoothly. So like if you put it in a liquid or something, it never got clumpy. I don't care at what stage you put it in there, it never got clumpy. So I like the fact that it easily dissolved in whatever you put it in. And so that's the other reason why I was like, oh, I can put it in my, you know, when I juice. And it was high in vitamins, high in folic acid, high in iron, and it was high in something else. And all of those things were things that I needed for my body, because I'm vitamin deficient. So yeah, I have to figure out exactly, see if I can look it up, because I know it when I see it, but I don't know the name. So I have to look up on the vitamin shop website and see if I can find the super green powder that I used to use. And if I find it, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do a shot of it, you know, show you a picture, or show it to you so you can see what I use. And I highly recommend that super green powder, especially for people who are really trying to get their greens in, but they're struggling. Because, you know, a lot of people, they don't like vegetables and stuff like that. And so, you know, like for me, I grew up eating collard greens and that sort of thing. And so, I don't know, over years, I just kind of got out of really enjoying stuff like that. I do enjoy some good cabbage. Now, cabbage is fixed right, I'll tear some cabbage up. The only problem is cabbage don't like me. So we have some issues with the gut when we eating on the cabbage, but I think that's just the general reaction for a lot of people. So, you know, you got to think about everything. Your cucumber, your celery, your broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, all of the greens, green beans, you know, those things are really good for you, that you know, you need to eat those. And I remember the other thing too, I used to tear up some green beans. I don't know, since I went back to eating animal protein, I don't eat as many vegetables as I should, and I really should. I know I should. So I watched a video today, Miriam, it wasn't a recent video. I don't think it was a recent video. I know it was on my playlist. But she did Salisbury steak, and she did it with ground beef. And but what caught my attention, because I was thinking, you know, because I had just bought a bunch of potatoes, and I was thinking, dang, you know, she fixed some mashed potatoes, and them mashed potatoes was looking good. I was like, man, I want some mashed potatoes. Because, you know, your girl can eat some potatoes any kind of way. Mashed, fried, baked. You give me a potato, I don't care how you fix it, I'm going to eat it. Because she's a potato girl. And that ain't good. So anyway, yeah, so I was thinking about that, but I'm tired, too tired to I did buy some salmon, and I left it. I cut it in half because it was pretty nice piece of salmon. I don't eat salmon. I in general don't really eat fish, but I will eat fish as long as it's white and meaty, because usually those types of fish don't taste fishy. So I don't like catfish, and I mean, it's a few of them that I refuse to eat, because I just I can't do it. But you know, tuna and stuff like that. I used to get down on some tuna. I don't know what happened. I tried to eat some tuna the other day, and that was not a good idea. And I fixed it the way I normally fix it. I just couldn't. I don't know if it was the brand of tuna or what it was, but it was a no-go for me. So anyway, yeah, so we got to get our vegetables in, y'all. So I'm gonna have to try to you know, focus on doing some videos where you know, I'm doing showing different ways to prepare vegetables, because my girl, the Connection Rejection, she fixed some Brussels sprouts the other day, and I was like, man, because I would never eat Brussels sprouts, because when I was younger and people fixed Brussels sprouts, the only way they would fix Brussels sprouts back in the day was they would boil them and put a little salt on them and then give them to you. And it was like, they are so bitter. It's not, they call them little cabbages, but you a lie, because cabbage don't taste like that. Cabbage don't taste like that. It's Brussels sprouts, if you don't fix them properly, they're bitter. They're very bitter. So I had a curiosity about Brussels. Let me put it like this. I've always had a curiosity about foods that I didn't like growing up. So as an adult, what I did was I took it upon myself to take an ingredient or a food that I was pretty much force-fed when I was little, that I did not like, and find recipes for me to be able to learn how to eat those things in a way that I liked them. So what I did is I was on the hunt. Say, for example, Brussels sprouts is a pretty good example. I didn't like the way they tasted. They were bitter, and they were just bland and just nasty. But I wanted to try to learn how to cook Brussels sprouts, because I just felt like there had to be a better way. So I got hooked on the Food Network channel, and I used to always watch Paula Deen and Bobby Flay and Kat Cora and some of the other ones, and I was watching a challenge one day, and Brussels sprouts was one of the ingredients. Oh, and chopped. Oh my God, I love chopped. So Brussels sprouts was one of the ingredients. The way that I saw that they prepared the Brussels sprouts with bacon and a balsamic honey glaze and all, I say, man, That sounds so good. So I went ahead and because back when I got hooked on the Food Network channel, yes, there was the internet and all that kind of stuff, but a lot of companies didn't have like websites and stuff. They had TV shows, but they didn't have websites. So I was able to locate a similar recipe than what I saw them doing on the cooking challenge that I was watching. And plus I have a bunch of cookbooks and stuff too. So man, I found that recipe. I got some Brussels sprouts. I followed that recipe to the T. And usually for me, that's what I do. If I'm cooking something new, I'm going to follow the recipe exactly. That means I'm not going to stray from the measurements. I'm not going to stray from the ingredients. I ain't subbing nothing. I'm fixing exactly the way the recipe calls for it. The reason I'm doing that is because if it don't come out right, then it's not my fault. Okay? So I cooked the Brussels sprouts exactly the way the recipe called for it. And man, when I tell you, they were so good. I could not believe. I was like, what in God's name have these people been doing to these poor vegetables all this time? I said, I knew that there had to be something else. There had to be some other kind of way to eat these things, because if that's the only way you can eat them, I ain't never going to be able to eat no Brussels sprouts. And so I fixed them for my kids, too. And they enjoyed the Brussels sprouts. So that's pretty much, I've had them, they're roasted in the oven. And I will tell you, when you make the balsamic honey glaze, and I know some people put like nuts in it, paired with that bacon, it does something. It's almost like it extracts that the bitterness out of the Brussels sprout. And so it makes them sweet, because balsamic vinegar, for those of you who don't know, and I don't know how many out there who don't know how many out there who actually cook with balsamic vinegar. If you take balsamic vinegar, put it in a saucepan on low, and allow it to cook down, it turns into, please get off my butt, it turns into a nice sticky substance. It actually, like the vinegar part out of it, the vinegar part of it kind of evaporates, and what you're left with is a really nice, you know how you can cook butter and sugar and and it turns into caramel? So that's kind of what the balsamic vinegar does. If you just cook it, take your time, low and slow, eventually the vinegar evaporates off of the balsamic vinegar, and you don't taste the vinegar part of it anymore. It's a really, really nice flavor, almost like mapley, but it's sweet, and it's just a really good flavor. And then to pair that with the saltiness of the bacon and the nuttiness of the of, like, if you use walnuts or whatever, then all three of those ingredients pair really well together. So yeah, that's how I learned how to cook Brussels sprouts, by watching the Food Network channel. And so now what I do is I know what ingredients I want to use to achieve the flavor profile that I'm looking for, and so I just make sure I get those ingredients. Now the measurements, it varies. It varies on the size of the it varies based on the size of the Brussels sprouts, but it also varies on the maturity of the Brussels sprout. So if you pay attention to the Brussels sprouts, sometimes even the bigger ones, if they're not, like, you want your Brussels sprouts, the leaves of your Brussels sprouts, just like you want cabbage and stuff like that, to be green. Now I know there's going to be some whiteness, but you can tell, the age of the Brussels sprout based on how green and vibrant it is. And you don't want to get Brussels sprouts that have kind of paled out and things like that, because that means they've been sitting somewhere for too long. So you do want your leaves of the Brussels sprouts to be to be green. And so yeah, so it just depends. Because what I figured is that, because cooking like that, it's a little trial and error. Is that the greener it is, the easier it is going to receive your glaze. It's not gonna, you know, it's like it's gonna welcome it. So the more pale it is, or the less green it is, it seems like it's gonna take a little bit more to flavor the Brussels sprouts. So you don't, you know, when you're shopping for your Brussels sprouts, you want to make sure that you're looking at them good, so you don't get home and have some janked up Brussels sprouts. You want to have some nice, healthy Brussels sprouts, right? The other thing is, I did find a recipe where you can use vanilla and pineapple juice to glaze your Brussels sprouts, and you just want to make sure that there's a balance between the vanilla, the pineapple juice, and a little maybe some pink Himalayan sea salt if you cook with salt, or again, like you can use the bacon to balance your the sweetness. So it's sweet, but it's like it's not overpowering. But yeah, that's how I figured out, you know, that's how I figured out whether I truly like something or not. Because I raised my kids by telling them, don't sit up here and tell me that you don't like something and you've never tried it. So the one rule we always have with our kids is that before they say they don't want something, they have to try it. They have to at least try it. If they try it and they just absolutely do not like it, then we allow them to say that they don't eat that because they don't like it. And very rarely did my kids do stuff like that, because my kids was in the sushi, eating seaweed, eating mushrooms. My kids ate a lot of stuff that most kids growing up didn't. You know, and their parents just didn't require them to try anything different. My kids will eat clams and oysters, and my son will even eat squid. I mean, you know, because my husband has a really weird flavor palette, has a really weird palate anyway, because this is a man who's eating monkey brain, and I'm just like, oh my God. They were over in Thailand. He was in the Navy, and they had him trying all kinds of stuff over there, and I'm just like, I just can't with you. I can't, because that's just not, that ain't food. What in the world? So anyway, so yeah, that was the rule with my kids, is that they had to eat, they had to try it at least once, and if they didn't like it, they had to tell me if they didn't like it because of the way I prepared it, or if they just didn't like it, you know, whatever it was. Because if they didn't like it the way I prepared it, then what I did is the next time I wanted to cook it, I found a different recipe or found a different way to cook it, and then we tried again. And if they just don't like it after that, then I just chalk it up to the fact that they just don't like it. And that's okay, because you're not going to like everything. There's food that I don't like, because I'm gonna tell you right now, she don't eat okra. Now the only way that you will get me to eat okra is if you fry it, and it got to be fried hard. And I'm talking about, I know, because I grew up, you know, the way that okra was prepared. Because, you know, you talking about, I was born in California, but I was raised here in Houston, and this is considered the South. It ain't the deep South, but it's the South. So you're dealing with a lot of stewed tomatoes and stewed okra and tomatoes. You talking about, I mean, however they fixed it, it was always slimy and nasty. And I'm like,